Is Gen X really the forgotten generation? I don't really think so. I don't really agree with that terminology. I'm a Gen Xer. I have a lot of friends that are Gen Xers. I have some baby boomer friends. I have friends from Gen Y, Gen Z, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's interesting. I've just seen a lot of YouTube videos and articles about Gen X, the forgotten generation. I look at it as this. Gen X isn't the lost generation. Gen X is the true underground. I look at it as the true underground because, you know what, we don't need to be in the forefront of, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. It's not like that. And that's one of the things that I really like about being a Gen Xer is that I grew up in a time, and if you're a Gen Xer, you know this, you grew up in a time where we actually experienced going from the analog age to the digital age. We've been able to live through it and experience it. We have the memory and we have the tools and we have the skills of being able to survive in an analog world or a digital world. And of course, we can hybrid between the two analog and digital worlds and just create them as a hybrid of how we run our lives. Just a very interesting concept of calling it the forgotten generation. I just think it's a generation where we just want to be left alone, and I prefer it that way. I prefer being the quiet one, right? George Harrison was the quiet one, or so they were saying back in the 60s with the Beatles. But I think our generation, the Gen X generation, is a pretty badass generation. I think so. What I take away from being a Gen Xer is my approach to music. I'm Lanes Laire, the artist. I'm a progressive, what do I say, industrial progressive art rock. That's what I label my music as, because it's a combination of a little bit of progressiveness, art rock, and cinematic compositions, and just kind of pulling from a lot of different influences. But really, it's just rock and stuff, right? That's what I do. But here's the thing. Because of growing up when I did and experiencing, the analog age and the digital age, that when it comes to writing my music, especially now with the writing of and recording of my album ER, which will be coming out later this year, there's real truth to the fact that real musicians, real talent, no AI, no auto-tune, none of that BS, you get what you get. And I have to say, there's definitely a backlash to the amount of AI music that's out there, because it's not real, there's no heart, there's no soul in it, it's just a bunch of bullshit. It really is. It's a bunch of crap that's out there. It is AI slop. When the term that's been coined that really does describe what it is. What was the average? I think I read somewhere, maybe my stats are wrong, but it was like 75,000 AI songs are uploaded daily to Spotify and Deezer and all these other distribution platforms. It's a joke. And here's the thing, if you get sucked in and going, wow, man, this is a great artist, I can't wait to see them come out in concert. Guess what? They never will, because it's fake. It's not even a real artist. This is the backlash. And I think this is why I'm glad that as a Gen Xer, I've experienced what it takes to create music for real. I mean, I'm not going to deny that I don't use AI, and I do it for research, but I never, ever utilize AI to create music and to do something artistic. I do it for research, I do it for ideas, or constructing things, or if I'm building a post or something and I want to find what are some good terms that I can do it use or whatever, and then I make it my own. And then that's fine. It's really only for research purposes, and it kind of helps speed things up from that aspect. But when it comes to music, never going to go to AI to say, hey, write a song, because it's not me. It's not coming from my heart and my soul. And that's something that I'm so glad that I've experienced growing up when I did, when you had to learn your instrument and be able to play. And not only that, because even if you're not the greatest guitar player, or maybe you're not the greatest singer, and I don't consider myself, the greatest guitar player or singer, but I do what I do. But what I do consider myself is a storyteller. And I'm able to express myself and share personal stories and emotions and be able to look out on the world and turn it into a song and again, create something that you as the listener can relate to because you know it is real. That's the beauty of it. And there are great things that have happened as that I've seen from growing up and doing music. For example, when I was recording, I was just using a little, cassette 4-track cassette recorder is what I had. There wasn't digital recording yet, but that's one of the beauties of going from analog to digital, especially in the music world, when you have programs like Pro Tools, which is what I use to record my music and do my artistic work. It's great to have these tools to be able to create more efficiently and save a lot of time, but really focus on the art of creation. That's the beauty of it, and that is the human aspect that AI can never replicate. There is the human aspect of writing and creating music. And that's why, and I'm even going to put in my liner notes on the album, and I will release it as a CD. It'll be released digitally as well, and I'm even thinking of doing it vinyl as well. But we'll see. That's a little farther down the road. But, no AI, I'm going to say that, no AI, no auto-tune, real musicians, real talent, because that's really what it comes down to. And that's why I really appreciate growing up as a Gen Xer. A lot of the fans that follow me, a lot of the fans are in my fan group. By the way, go to the link I got a couple of links there in the description here. Click on it. One is to be on the VIP list. It gets you into my emails and keep you updated on what's going on. The other is the fan community. It's a Facebook fan community. You got to join that group as well because that's where we get to interact, one-on-one. And I love that. I love that. So links are in the description. Of course, subscribe to the channel because I want to take you on my journey as well as I create my music. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, love it, and I'm just so glad and grateful for your support. Okay, so there's your plug. Anyway, when it comes to music, no Suno, none of this other BS that's out there. It has to be played by real musicians, composed by real artists. And you know what? Do the work. Just do the work because what you create is something that you can really be proud of. You want to leave a legacy? That's how you leave a legacy. If you're just in it to, and I know there's a lot of people, that's why there's 75,000 fake songs uploaded every day. Right? There's a lot of people who are doing it just to try to profit off of it and dupe people and make people think that, oh, this is real. And that sucks, and then that's just a black mark in the music industry. But there is backlash, and people want real music. People want real musicians. People want to go to a concert. There's nothing, that's so, man, I can't even think of the words of what it's like to go to a concert and see your favorite band or your favorite artist perform live, where they are really performing, not just, singing to a track or whatever. They are actually, it's their voice and they're performing. That's what's so beautiful about the generation that I grew up in the music that was created. You listen to a band like Queen, right? Those vocals are so great. And these are songs that were done, I'm talking like, early Queen, at least the 70s version of Queen, where, man, you had to have talent. And the creativeness of that was just off the frickin' charts. That's what excites me. And to go to a concert and see, a group like that perform. I'm going to go, I'll be seeing Rush in their new formation with Annika Niles and the other keyboard player that they're bringing on tour. Man, it's still them, and they're still going to be performing, and the songs are fun and exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing them in concert again. So it's an exciting thing. That's what you cannot take away from our generation, and even your generation too. If you're not a Gen Xer, maybe you are, Gen Y, Gen Z, millennial, whatever you want to call, label yourself, whatever. But the point is, going to concerts is great. and having that experience of listening to real music with real artists who've given their blood, sweat, and tears to create something that's so fantastic, that's awesome. That's awesome. So I do believe that the Gen X generation is not a forgotten generation. We're the type of people who we are the underground. We are the true underground because we don't need to be in the forefront of like, look at me, look at me. No, because we've lived life. We know what's, we have our morals and values, and we've gone from analog to digital, and we've experienced a lot of life. And it's funny. One little thought I will share, and that's, when I was growing up, you'd see old people and be like, grumpy old man, grumpy old lady, God, they're all mean and everything. But it's funny, as you get older, you start to understand and realize that these grumpy old people, their tolerance level for bullshit has just dropped. They've lived life, right? They've experienced life, and they don't have time to deal with the BS that's out there, right? They don't have time for it. So maybe they are grumpy because it's like, I'm going to deal with your BS. And you know what? More power to them. Because as we grow older, guess what? We're going to become that generation, and you will notice. You will notice that your tolerance for bullshit will be lessened and lessened and lessened till you're like, I have zero tolerance for people's BS. Zero tolerance for it. And you know what? That's okay. That's okay, because you have your life, you live your life, you have your path that you're on. And, for us Gen Xers and even the baby boomers and even Gen Z for that matter, we have our paths and we've lived our life, and I'm glad I had the experience that I've had. I can survive in the analog world and I can survive in the digital world. Take one or the other away, no big deal, right? Like that, and I appreciate that. So we are the underground, man. We are the underground. Love it. Excuse me. Anyway, just want to say, no matter what generation you're from, I do appreciate you enjoying my music. Go to laneslaire.com, join the VIP fan list. Link is in the description. And also join the fan community. And that's also on Facebook. So do it, man. laneslaire.com. All right. Anyway, I'm going to wrap things up here. My assignment to you, as always, is when you're out and about in the world, smile at a stranger. Say hello to them. Give them a compliment. Because that small gesture of kindness can make the world of difference in somebody's life. So be a life changer, all right? Thank you for listening to my rant. I love you guys. Again, ER will be coming out later this year. Join the fan community so that you can stay up on that. I got a lot of special things coming up for fans only, so make sure you join. Thanks again. Take care. We'll be talking to you on the next episode of Raw and Unfiltered.